Hello and welcome at the Board Game Brothers podcast. Normally a podcast in Dutch, but this time a special episode around Spiel. This year we had a few short interviews during the convention with different publishers about the games that they brought with them this year. And in the show notes you can find the timestamps for the different interviews. The first interview is with Devin from Lucky Duck. Second interview is with Aileen Hall and Aaron Shaw about their game Ivion. The third interview is with Bree from Arcane Wonders. The fourth interview with Peter from Delicious Games. The fifth interview Reina from Pandasaurus. And the last interview is with Debbie at the Wise Wizard booth. Hopefully you enjoy this episode and please let us know what you think about it. If you have any questions or feedback, please let us know by sending an email to info@boardgamebrothers.nl. Now we start with the first interview.
So, hello, Devin from Lucky Duck Games.
Yes.
Thank you for having me on during Spiel in this hectic, huge board game event in Essen. You're my first interview, so thank you for that. Yeah, you're from Lucky Duck Games. Can you tell something about the company, about the board game?
Sure. I mean, first off, apologies. You're hearing my voice 3 days into Spiel, so it's shattered and broken.
It's really hard working.
But I appreciate you taking the time to chat, and I'd love to give you kind of a little bit of rundown of where Lucky Duck is right now and what we're doing here at Spiel. So we are, promoting and showing off 3 different new releases. One which we released at Gen Con, which is Cosmoctopus, but This is the first opportunity we've had to show it off at Spiel. So Cosmoctopus is through our partnership with Paperfort Games, and that is from the designer Henry Audubon, who is known for Parks. Cosmoctopus is a light engine builder. It's in a very accessible space in terms of the complexity of the game, but it's got a lot of ways in which you can vary the experience so that people want to keep coming back to it for repeated dives. It's a delightful little game. You have an incredible little toy factor.
Yeah,
with
it looked quite easy.
Cosmoctopus there.
And the plush animal, the stuffed animal over there. Yeah.
So it's a very adorable little game. We have been very happy with the reception that it's had, both in the US and now here in Europe. So that is one of our 2 titles, or one of our 3 titles that we're showing off and demoing at the tables. The other 2 are the first time that they've been available for sale, and those are Kirii the Duel and then Senjutsu Battle for Japan. And those 2 games, both samurai themed, but in a little bit different spaces in terms of the genres. Yeah. Kirii the Duel is a short 2-player heads-up competition, 16 cards, 2 players standing across from each other in this imposing line, and you move back and forth trying to kind of outwit your opponent and play the right card at the right time to inflict a strike against them. And so, I mean, what did you think of your introduction to that game?
It looked really simplistic. Like, okay, this is what you get, what you see is what you get, and that back and forth you see it. You need to go back and try to hit or try to get the right stance. So it looks really like it's not complex, but I think every time you play it with 2 games, no 2 games are the same.
Yeah, I think the thing that I love about 2-player experiences is more often than not, you have the base game mechanics, but then it's so much about the player that's opposite the table from you, because in a one-on-one environment, it's just about getting into their head and trying to figure out what they're thinking and then try to outwit them.
Are they aggressive?
Yeah, are they aggressive? Are they defensive? Are they going to be more cautious? Are they going to go reckless? And it's just a lot of fun to try to intuit that from who's standing opposite you. So Kirii the Duel, very small little game, comes in a gorgeous samurai wallet, very accessible and very approachable. And like you said, it's simplistic, but the variety is in your opponent and then also some of those card decisions that you have. So that's Kirii the Duel. The next one is Senjutsu Battle for Japan.
Is it a coincidence that it's both samurai games this year?
It just happens to have lined up well with release date windows. It wasn't intentional, but we're happy for the connection between the 2 of them. And Senjutsu Battle for Japan is a 1 to 4 player game. It's good for fans of tabletop miniatures like Warhammer 40K. It's good for fans of Magic the Gathering and other card games, because there's both tabletop skirmish mechanics, but then there's also deck construction. So when you're learning the game, you can have a pre-created, like pre-constructed deck that you just learn the mechanics with in the gameplay. And then afterwards, you can start to build your deck to your style. Do you want to be more aggressive? Do you want to have movement and maneuverability? as your focus. Those are all kind of options that you can assess while you're building out your deck. But the nice thing about it is that it looks like a really intense game, and it can be in terms of the atmosphere that it creates, but it plays in 20-25 minutes.
What you say is right. I was looking to the game. It's quite a big box. I was like, okay, samurais is going to be epic, huge battles or something. Then you look at the box and it's like, okay, 20 minutes. How is that even possible to play this game in 20 minutes? You see miniatures, you see a lot of cards, symbols, but that's really cool.
And I think that's one of the major selling points for it, is that, you know, people who like tabletop miniatures are used to trying to go through the difficulty of scheduling half a day at the local game store with a friend, and people who play Magic the Gathering, you need to get such an involved process of competitions and tournaments. And then hobbyist gamers are also getting more and more used to 60, 90, 120 minute sessions, and this plays so snappy and fast, but it gives you a lot of depth and excitement that you can kind of like, you know, extract from it whenever you're playing.
Cool.
So those are our 3 main titles that we've got. But I did mention before we started, you were kind of interested in some of the previews that we have available and some of the prototypes that are there.
Yeah, lately we heard the message from you guys that you're gonna republish Food Chain Magnet with 3D models and that kind of stuff. Now it's from Splotter Games. They're Dutch, so we are very proud that it's now getting a more. Yeah, it was also a really simplistic game about just the mechanics. Now it's gonna be get a bit more fancy, I think.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the progress? How that Splotter Games has connected with you guys, and to put a new Kickstarter with more fancy models?
Yeah, so the partnership with Lucky Duck Games is to bring this deluxe edition in, you know, English language. Like you said, very, very popular game. Splotter is a very, you know, respected and loved publisher, Food Chain Magnet, and we just had this opportunity, and we looked forward to the concept. There's a lot of, there's been a trend in recent years of kind of revisiting those classic games, those ones that all of us have loved and that have endured when, you know, some games come and go, and these games kind of stay. And, you know, Food Chain Magnet has such a strong, passionate following, and the idea of being able to give them such a special version of that game, and the prototype that we have here, the version that we have here, very, very early stages, you know, and we're just showing it off at our booth, if you know, and so the opportunity to give, you know, dual layer boards, to give nice deluxe pieces, and kind of give it a little bit more
what it deserves, maybe,
atmosphere, or presence, that like you said, give it the table experience that the game deserves and that the fans want, and we're excited to be able to do that for them.
Yeah, very cool. So that's going to be a Kickstarter campaign in November?
So it's coming out on GameFound instead of Kickstarter, and then it will be out towards the end of the year, Q4. Okay. So it's on the way.
Yeah,
it's on
cool.
the way.
Okay. Also, there was lately announced demoing a prototype from a new game from you guys.
Yes.
Can you tell something about that?
We have 2 or 3 different games that we're showing off that are kind of like upcoming experiences. One of them is from our studio. That's the Fall of Fafnir. So we have a very early stage prototype that we're getting demos and feedback, and just having players sit down and experience the core gameplay and give us their notes on what they think they like, which aspects of the game draw them the most and appeal to them the most, and what we might want to focus in on, you know, as the game continues development, what we might want to highlight as the best part of the experience, so that players want to keep coming back, and that they're motivated once the campaign goes live. So we're getting a lot of good information and a lot of good data with people that are playing that. That's Fall of Fafnir. That's our studio game. And then 2 of our partners are showing off other titles as well. We have our partners at Paperfort, who are showing off their next title, which is Terraria, based off the very popular video game IP. And so they've been showing off an early prototype of that and giving, you know, the very many fans of Terraria a taste of what this might look like in a board game adaptation. So we're excited that the next convention we might have even further in development with a lot of these titles, and that will give us an opportunity to kind of show off
what we're doing and
what we're doing and what's coming up.
Cool.
And then the last one would be Critter Kitchen. That's next from our partners at Cardboard Alchemy who brought us Flamecraft. So Critter Kitchen is designed by Alex Cutler with art by Sandara, which will be familiar to all of the fans of Flamecraft. It's the same artist.
Yeah.
And so we've been having sit-down, hour-long demo sessions so that people can get a taste of that before the campaign launches on October 24th.
Yeah, just to get some buzz around the game already and maybe some feedback.
Yep, exactly.
Cool, sounds great. That's also a new thing for you guys, I think, that you're showing off the prototypes during this convention?
Yes, we're trying to move to a point to where we can give a lot of demo time to the games that are releases. That's why we have those 3 demo tables that are running 24/7 with our new titles that you can purchase. And then we also want to give the opportunity for our fans to feel like they can come and belong at Lucky Duck, and then also get a taste of what's coming up next.
Or something. Yeah, very cool. All right, a lot of great games coming up from Lucky Duck.
Yep.
Glad to hear that there's coming up something for Food Chain Magnet. No, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hello guys, welcome to the Board Game Brothers podcast. I'm here at Alien Hall.
Yes, hi, I'm Aislinn.
And
I'm Aaron Shaw. Hi.
And I'm sitting here on Spiel Essen at Ivion, the hero crafting card game. And yeah, I'm really positive about this game. I read about it, and it's like a two-player game with a lot of tension. And I just want to love to hear from you guys. Why does everybody needs to go and play this game?
Sure, great. So Ivion is a 1 versus 1 or free for all or 2 versus 2 team battling hero battler, basically. So you are playing as a fantasy hero on a battlefield, facing off against another hero, and both of you are going to have your own deck of cards, and those cards are going to be crazy spells that deal a bunch of damage and impact the board, or cards that attach to the board directly and pulse out effects around them. You're also going to have ways to cause your character to dash across the battlefield. If you are a melee character, you're going to need to charge in against your opponent and start slashing them with your sword or something like that. So there's lots of different play styles. There's lots of different ways to approach your enemies. The goal of the game is to just simply deal enough damage to reduce their health down to 0, as you do. But that's really, really hard because they're going to have their own incredible counters, their own dashes and dodges and crazy combos.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of back and forth, and it just leads to this high stakes, high impact, bloody duel to the death.
Cool. Sounds good. 2-player game or a 4-player game. In the box, you have different kind of builds because there's a new Kickstarter upcoming or new...
We already finished our new Kickstarter, actually, yeah.
With 3 new games, but you already had a few other boxes, right?
Right. Do you want to talk a little bit about those, Aaron?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all told, right now Ivion has been released in 3 seasons. The first 2 are in stores right now. There are, in each season, we make 3 boxes, each with 2 characters. So right now there are 12 heroes to choose from, and we've got another 6 on the way. We just finished funding that last week.
Cool. Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's like you can play the characters from boxes between each other, right?
Yeah,
you can use the maps.
Right, for sure. So each character is comprised of cards from different archetypes. So this is the Invoker character here, like this is their miniature, but this deck has cards from Sorcerer and Invoker.
Okay.
And this character, the Archmage, could potentially take cards from the Sorcerer class of this deck to make a totally different kind of fighting play style. And so you can combine these cards from all these different boxes to make your own, like, totally personalized hero with how you want to fight. You know, if you've got a character that starts with a sword and just kind of slashes people, you could take a bunch of fire spells from this box, add those to that guy. Suddenly he's like a battle mage that's slinging fire and, you know.
I didn't understand that part because I knew you have like a standard deck and a more experienced deck or advanced card deck you can add to it, but it's also compatible with other characters. is not only compatible for the character that's in the box.
Exactly. So one of our main goals when making Ivion was to take this very traditionally pretty complicated style of game and make it very accessible. One of our big inspirations when we were making this, designing this game and how you made decks was actually Smash Up. We love the idea of just taking archetypes, smashing them together to make a deck, and we used that in Ivion. So there is like a full Magic the Gathering style like customization you can do, but we also have made systems for making it easier to learn how to play. Every class has a specific set of cards that you pull out when you're just starting, and you take those and you shuffle them together and your deck is good to go. And yes, so every single box is cross-compatible. They are all designed to work and play with each other. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How do you design that? This is all connecting together.
Well, it was a long process.
It was short.
So
because you already have 6 boxes, right?
Yeah.
And there's new 6 boxes upcoming, and you need to get the balance between the other 6 because that there at Magic the Gathering there is power creep and the cards are getting much stronger than they were in the first series.
Right.
So there is, with any sort of game where you're trying to combine cards, there is this inherent difficulty of power creep, where as you make more cards, more combinations become available, and there's a higher potential for super strong things to emerge. One of the things that we do to a little curtail that, not stop it completely, because we still do need to do a bunch of play testing, which we do, a ton of, but
that's how a lot of it happens. A bunch of play testing.
A lot of it is just finding things that are broken through play testing and stopping them. But we also designed Ivion from the ground up to fight against power creep in that way. When you sit down to make a deck in Ivion, you can only pick 3 archetypes to choose from. In each of those archetypes, there are cards that are way more powerful. If this was a game like Magic the Gathering, you would run those cards in every single deck.
Yeah.
But because when you make an Ivion deck, you can only pick 3 archetypes. You can't run all of the most powerful cards. You can only run whichever ones are in those archetypes.
So really it boils down to picking combinations of archetypes, which are effectively card pools that you think are going to perform really well together, or, of course, what you like.
Yeah.
And there's one time where that did not work. We have a type of card that can go into any deck. These are traits. These are like passives that a character can have. We did mess up on one card, and it is the only card we have banned in competitive play because it is far too strong. I don't know what we were thinking. Yeah.
Cool. What was the card, Eric?
Oh, it was a card called Strive for Glory. It just said if you run out of cards in your hand, you can draw another one. I don't know why we thought that was okay. It ends up being really strong.
It's a really good.
It's a pretty good effect.
Love that.
But outside of that, the game's been really stable.
Yeah. When I first read about it, I get a bit of a match feeling about with 1 against 1. But I think the better part about this game, if I may be honest, is that you can design your own deck and design your own playstyle, what you prefer. Like, do I want to be a more passive character or more aggressive or more with spells? To be interesting to get it on the table or something.
Yeah,
absolutely. Unmatched is an excellent game, and it is doing a slightly different thing. With instead of having like that customization aspect, you have these fully realized archetypes, and that's really awesome. I love Unmatched, and it's a very cool style of like playing cards face down and then revealing what you're doing, and that's awesome. And that is a beautiful standalone 1 versus 1 experience.
Yeah.
We want to capture that with Ivion, but also bring in that customization aspect.
Yeah. More replayability.
More replayability. There's a lot
depth.
more. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's that depth there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we really focused very heavily on the customization aspect of this game. We wanted it to be simple and approachable. When you're playing Magic and you're trying to look through how you're going to build your commander, there's so many card choices. It can be extremely hard to actually make those choices.
And to get those cards.
And to get those cards. Yeah.
No kidding.
So we're really happy with how the archetype system works, where you pick 3, and those are your card pools. And so the amount of choices and options that you have available to you at any given point is significantly reduced, but there's still a lot of depth to explore within those options. Like if you play like I'd mentioned earlier, like the Archmage character, and you pick the Wizard class and the Sorcerer class, there are enough cards within all of those card pools that 2 players could build completely different decks from each other, which is really interesting because there's just so many playstyles and avenues to explore the deck building, even within the same archetypes.
I know we bring up the different archetype system a lot, but really that is one of our biggest ways that Ivion is accessible to new players. Because when you sit down to fight against somebody, you know what 3 archetypes they're playing. And in Ivion there are reaction cards like in Magic Instants, but each archetype only has 2 or 3. So if you know what those are, you know there are like 4 possible cards that they could be playing that could answer you. And it's impossible that they could be running anything else, which makes the game a lot more readable and a lot more quick.
Sounds really great.
It is.
Yeah, of course it is. You just finished your crowdfunding campaign. Is it necessary? Is it already play tested? It's now going to the printing shop and to get it to the people?
Yeah, so we spent almost a full year before we go to Kickstarter, play testing, redesigning, iterating. We have a fully dedicated team of play testers we work with who give us feedback and advice on what we're doing. And I'm really, really happy with our most recent season.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful. It's probably the most polished one we've made so far. We're really proud of it. But anyways, yeah.
So we, after Kickstarters, we like to do one final pass on wording and doing some last-minute balance changes we can do for about a month after the Kickstarter. We still have to do that because we finished our Kickstarter last Thursday, and directly that next Monday flew out to Spiel. So we got some stuff to do when we get back, but I don't expect another pass after this next one. We're really happy with Season 3.
Cool.
And so after that's done, we will just do some finalization of print files, and then it will be manufactured and shipping out.
And then we have to get started on Season 4.
Yeah, of course.
Naturally.
Yeah, you need to keep it going. Okay, cool. I think thank you for your time and to explain your 2 and 4-player 2 versus 2 game. Ivion, glad to meet you guys, and I love to hear the passion about this game.
Absolutely.
Great, yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Hello, Bree. Thank you for having me at Arcane Wonders booth.
My pleasure. It's happy to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, we are here at Spiel talking about some publisher, game designers about the games they are showing off on Spiel this year, and maybe also a sneak peek for later this year or holidays or the first quarter of 2024.
Sure.
And I just love to hear what Arcane Wonders has a showcase here at Spiel.
Absolutely. So the first game that I would love to tell you about is World Wonders. That one is a polyomino tile laying game that also has these wooden monuments that you can unlock as you're playing and place them on your board. It's got a grid system where you're building a city. That one we sold out in the first 2 hours of day one.
Yeah.
We sold every copy we have. We took pre-orders for it as well, so those are still available for pickup, but almost all of those are gone too.
Pretty good sign, I think.
Yes, we're very happy with that, but it's also kind of sad because people are looking for it and we don't have enough. But we will have that in stores in Europe probably by mid to late November.
Okay.
So that should be easy to find.
For the
after that.
holidays, it's in,
Hopefully, yes.
It's there.
Hopefully, yes. Next game what I would love to tell you about is Neotopia. Neotopia is a city building, pattern building, tile laying game. So there are 3 regions on the board. You'll have patterns on cards in your hand, and you're going to be wanting to place the tiles, the little round colored tiles, in each of the 3 regions to make the patterns on the cards in your hand.
Yes, to get that objective done.
Exactly. So when you score that pattern, it will be scored in the region where you've created the shape. And that's important because there are 3 score trackers, and at the end of the game, your 2 higher score trackers score normally, and your lowest one scores triple.
Okay, yes.
So it encourages you to
Get everything.
diversify, right?
Yeah.
To hit every part of the city.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also get points for having large groups of your own colored tiles together.
Yeah.
So that sort of encourages you to focus. So there's lots of different things to do.
Yeah. So there's focus on one thing, but also those 3 tracks to
Yes.
get involved. So really puzzly and
Yes.
overthinking.
Yes, but also very fast playing.
Okay.
Like it's the number of rounds depends on the number of players,
Yeah.
but even at 4, which is the maximum player count, I think it plays in about 40 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yes.
And then we have Age of Wonders Planetfall, which was based on a video game of the same name.
Yes.
You do not have to have any experience with the video game. It's actually, between us, it's my favorite of the 3 new releases.
Okay.
And I have never played the video game, although I keep hearing about it, and the more I hear about it, the more I feel like it's my kind of game, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
should have played it. I probably will soon. That one is a drafting game. So you're exploring 7 planets, drafting 2 cards from each one.
Okay, yes.
So the cards get laid out in 3 rows, and which row the card is on determines the price of that card. So each card will have a 1, 2, and 3 cost. The further down you go, the less expensive the cards are, but also the later you will go in the next round.
Yes.
So where you choose a card from determines your player order for the next round.
So the stronger the card, no?
No, the strength is going to be the same.
Okay.
It's the cost.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'll be less expensive, or it will give you a better reward if it's lower.
Yeah.
But it will also mean you go later in the next
In the
draft.
game, yeah.
And you just with that one, you draft, wipe the board, do a quick income phase,
Yes.
put out the next planet.
Okay.
Draft, income, planet, and there's 7 planets. But it's that fast. With 2 or 3 players, it's easy to play in 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
It plays up to 6. With 6 players who know how to play, 40 minutes is no problem.
Yes. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep. We also have Furnace Interbellum, which is the expansion to Furnace.
Yeah,
That's
Furnace was just last year a really big hit on
Yes,
Spiel, right? Yeah.
very much so. Furnace, when it first released, was huge. We were supposed to have Interbellum last year at Spiel, but it didn't make it. So this is, even though the game itself has been out for a while, this is the first Spiel that we've had it at. We also have Gap, which is like a 10-minute filler card game. Gap is a 10-minute filler card game with these beautiful foil cards
Yes.
where you are trying to make the largest gap between your biggest group and your smallest group. So if you have 5 in your largest group and 1 in your smallest group, you score 4.
Cool. Quick and easy.
Sorry.
A quick and easy card game. Furnace is a heavy game.
Furnace, the base game, is a light engine builder.
Okay.
Around a 2 or a low 2 on BGG. The expansion adds a level of complexity.
Okay.
It definitely makes the game more interesting. There are more decisions to make.
Yes.
But the base game on its own is a beautiful, slimmed down
Okay.
engine builder.
Nice. All right. Is there something coming up for next year that's in the pipeline?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, you can actually see prototypes right
Yes.
here on the table with us. So these are things that have been announced. I can't talk about the things that haven't been.
No, of course.
But Foundations of Metropolis will probably be out around Gen Con next year. That is Foundations of Rome
Yes.
retail.
Okay.
So
For the normal people.
exactly, it's in a box, like, as you can see.
Yes.
It's in like a Ticket to Ride size box, and it's the same game, but with the more like metropolitan setting and cardboard tiles instead of plastic buildings.
Miniatures, yes. Builders.
Right, which is why we can put it in a smaller box.
Yeah.
And then we also have Ley Lines, which is a reinvention of the 1987 Spiel des Jahres winner, which is called Off Ash.
Okay, yes.
It is
It was for my time.
right. So it was designed by Wolfgang Kramer.
Okay, yes.
And it's a pick up and deliver game about trucking. we are reimagining it into a fantasy realm.
Okay.
So it's more of a modern type of setting. And Wolfgang Kramer is still working on this with us, but also Daryl Andrews, designer of Sagrada,
Yes.
is working with Wolfgang Kramer on the redesign.
Cool.
So that will be coming out next year as well.
A reinvention of
exactly.
of all the time.
And you can see here on the prototype, and also this is on BGG. If you want to look at the box art, it's very cute. Like if you lift that box up, you can even see. It's just very,
yes.
very cute fantasy.
Yes.
Exactly, and this is visible on the BGG page for Leylines, LEYLINES, and yeah, I think this setting will be much more appealing to a modern audience.
Yeah, a bigger family group will hit this right.
Yep.
And maybe Foundations also, that it will get a bigger public.
Yes,
Because
because Foundations of
heavy-
Rome, like the game
It's
itself,
really
the
easy.
gameplay
Yeah.
is very straightforward. But because the box is so big and it has minis, it really was like it's a Kickstarter game, right? And it went to a Kickstarter audience. This will be going to a retail audience, and even outside of the hobby market, potentially into a mass market audience.
Yes, I know. I saw my brother playing Foundations of Rome the first time. I was like, okay, what is this game? Mind blowing. But he says, yeah, you only do one action, you grab a building, and it's done. And the next player is like, okay, but why is this so big? Yeah, because it's scared and it's Kickstarter.
Because we can.
Yeah, because we can. And it looks amazing, but I think the same gameplay, wider public, it's also a really good decision from you guys, from Arcane Wonders.
Thank you.
Yeah, to more people to get it played. Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yes, of course, always, I think. Okay, thank you for all the lovely games and the games you're setting here up at Spiel this year.
My pleasure.
And I wish you the best, and one day tomorrow for the last day.
Thank you.
And then you have worked enough, I think.
This has been a wonderful show, but it's so tiring.
Was it last year that we had mouth
Yep.
masks? Yeah.
Last year was my first year at SA.
Okay.
Yes, we did still wear masks.
Yeah.
And that also makes things harder for me because I'm usually very good with faces and names.
Yes.
And I'm very recognizable because of my height, and I think maybe because of my hair.
Yeah.
So people know who I am, and they think I know who they are because we know each other. But with the mask, I can't tell.
No, it's such.
And then, so this part of a face, the top part of a face, and
it's
names.
not enough to
it's not enough.
remember. No.
Exactly, exactly. So, as much as I appreciate the benefits of masking, I'm grateful to be able to see faces now.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
I'm here at Delicious Games with Peter from Delicious Games. The last day on Spiel. How are you feeling?
I would say tired. I think that everyone is tired here. It's last day. I'm really lucky that I can go home today, not tomorrow. So
tomorrow it's all cleaning and cut the booth down and go back to.
Yes, exactly.
Where are you guys from?
From Czech Republic, complete stuff. No complete stuff. We have one guy from Netherlands.
Oh, cool, nice. That's the best part. Yes, I'm standing in at Delicious Games. You guys have two big titles this year from Vladimir Suchy. I love to hear, especially from Evacuation, big stuff, but also the new re-implementation from Shipyard, the second edition. Can you tell me something about it?
Okay, so I will start with Evacuation because it's, I would say, the bigger hit. It's clear, it's new game, so always the people are interested about the new games. The game itself is about collapsing planet, and you found somewhere new planet which is able to be populated. So this collapsing planet, you have full economic on this planet. So on the beginning of the game, you have very big income on this planet. And during the game, you are really decreasing this income and trying to move all the population, so some factories, some people, to the new planet. On the new planet, on the beginning, it's very difficult because you have no income there, so you can get some minor goods from the old planet. and you can also transfer everything with the spaceships to the new planet. Here you will start to building the population, the factories and everything, and the game can end in 2 modes. Yeah? There is one mode, the race mode. This is really race. The first player who reach some level of the income on the new planet for each source. There are
the industry level or something,
yes,
right?
there are three resources. It's food, steel, and energy. So certain level. Also, you have to have 3 stadiums on new planet because people need entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it's represented by stadiums. And also, you have to have all the sites on your old planet to be transferred to the new one. Yeah. So this is the race mode. When the first player reaches this targets, then the game ends. But it's not clear if he can win because there are some adjustments on the end of the game. Yeah, you can have some penalty chips during the game. So there is some counting, and then winner is established. For the second mode, this is the standard point mode. I would say this is much more complicated because you will add some cards for it. Some
with different kind of actions, right? It's a more complex.
This is also a little bit different because you can use these modes with cards also for both of these.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, but you here add some personal goals. Yeah. So you have some, I think, 3 or 4 cards of the personal goals. And that gives you a lot of points on the end of the game, and then also some achievements cards. Yeah, so you can get these achievement cards during the game, and also score some points for it. As you mentioned, this with cards, these are also 2 options how to use the card. Yeah, there are 2 sides. It's clear, and one side is just marker, yeah, just to mark the actions which are on the board. And the second side is action itself. Usually it's stronger than the action on the board. But each card and each action on the board, there's a number, and on the end of the turn you are counting, you are summing up these numbers together, and this is your movement with satellites. And these satellites are important for you because on the beginning, when you pass first threshold, you will also decrease with this movement the income on the old planet.
Yeah.
And if you will be fast, you can with these satellites increase the income on the new planet.
Okay.
But
you need to keep that in.
Yeah. So you need to balance it somehow. Yeah.
That mechanic, like I played once time another game that you start with a full economic, a lot of resources, and you need to destroy that to start over at something new. That feels like really cool because I think I didn't play it, but at the start of the game you can do a lot of actions because you already have a lot of income, right?
You can. There is also, you have to pay for actions, for some additional actions. For first 2 actions are for free, and then you have to pay with energy for actions. Okay. And this game is about the balancing. Yeah, so you have to.
You can do a lot of actions, but then you have something bad.
Yeah, sure. You need to really balance where to use or where to get the income, where to decrease, when to decrease the income. Yeah, so you really need to balance, because what is the important that if you use the resource on one planet, you will perform the action on this planet. So for example, if you build the factory, usually to prepare the factory to be built, you will put it onto the selected planet where you spend the resource. Yeah, so this is also important, and you need the ships to move everything. So you need to really think about how fast you want to be with satellites, or what to move, what to not move, which sources you want to save for next round, and so on. Yeah,
cool. So sounds really cool.
Yep.
The first picture I saw from evacuation was that board, and it was like very appealing to those 2 planets that
it's a very nice board.
That road against it was really cool. But after that there wasn't that much information going on, and was it scary to get this title on Spiel on time, or was it or did you guys know it will be on Spiel as a release?
No, that was the plan, that he will be released on the Spiel, and I would say it's Vladimir style, to really go to the Spiel, to release the game here, to sell really a lot of copies here to everyone. So he's calculating every year a little bit more and more copies because people are used to come to the booth and to buy it. Yeah? So we really want to sell games
Here
to everyone and here.
And after that we'll go to
but
retail.
After that it's normal way.
Because I know Jumping Turtle Games, a Dutch Belgian publisher, will go with the evacuation for the Netherlands. They did also Messina from you guys.
Also in Germany, the Pegasus Spiel will bring the evacuation in German and other
cool.
the many languages.
Okay. You guys have another title, Shipyard Second Edition. I've seen a few more games that get a revamp, a new style from all the games. Why did you guys choose for Shipyard?
The reason was that people were really interested in the game, and the game itself, it was very difficult to get it somewhere. So it is a game from 2008 and not so much copies. I don't know, in the time maybe it was
it wasn't this big, right?
maximum 1,000 copies for all the world. So we made a decision to really bring new shipyard on market to the people. Sure, to make the game much more attractive. The gameplay itself is the same. There is a very minor change due to some mechanisms which we changed, but it's very minor and not so much affecting the game itself. And so we kept the game as it is now, and it was before, because Vladimir said that this is a really good game, and it doesn't need a lot of changes or any changes. So it is mostly cosmetics, but we changed some mechanism for actions, for example. Because in the old game there was a track which went around, and the actions were moving around this track. Now we have a little bit different mechanism with the wheel, and this wheel is counting the turns and causing that the game ends in some time.
Because the main part is you're going to build ships for contract, and you're going to add some stuff on those wooden components, right?
Yes. Wooden components are not included in the base game. That you have to buy them separately. This is also a decision that how we will do it, but standard
you need to keep it affordable also.
So I think that the game looks very nice and it works still the same. So. And we have to say that also the sales are here very good.
Cool, that's good to see that there's still a lot of buzz around. A second game, second edition game. Okay, thank you. But I think Vladimir Sushi also sells the title, right? It's the design and
sure. It is.
Peter, I want to thank you for your time.
You are welcome.
And I hope you have a good day. And after this, you have a relaxed moment for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoy the fair or rest of the fair.
Yes, I will be.
And next year.
Yes, thank you. Hello, Reina from Pandasaurus Games. Thank you for having me for a short interview about your Spiel or your showcase on Spiel this year. We're going to talk about your newest games here, what you're going to show. I see the Fox experiment, what I'm very curious for.
Yes.
And maybe some different games that are upcoming. But I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So our biggest game of the show is definitely the Fox experiment. We kickstarted it last year.
Yes.
This is the first time it's available in retail. It's designed by Elizabeth Hargrave, who I'm sure you know did Wingspan, Mariposas, and also Jeff Frazier. And the theme of this game is it's based on the Russian farm fox experiment. So that was an experiment in which they tried to domesticate foxes and see what traits those foxes develop as a result of that. So it's super cool. This is a Euro-style game, but it has some elements of rolling and writing. And the spectacular thing about this game is as you pick a mother fox and a father fox to breed, and then you draw a personal pup card from your deck, mark off the traits that are passed down, and then you see how those traits are passed down over the 5 rounds or generations. It plays 1 to 4 players, so you can play it solo if you'd like. But the playtime is still on the lower side, about 60 or 75 minutes, because most of it is simultaneous. That's what happens in roll and write games a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, we're hearing amazing feedback for it so far. We have 4 demo tables for it going. They've just been full back to back to back.
Yeah, cool. Because I saw the picture where you get those different kind of fox puppies with those different kind of traits. It also gives, like you see that science genetic team in it. Maybe on not a really depth level, but you see that you're doing something with it.
Exactly, it feels productive, and the fun thing about the game is you're able to name your foxes that you make, so I feel like it tells you a lot about people's personalities that you're playing with.
Cool, really great. Now for retail, after the Kickstarter already is delivered, I think?
Yes, so we're starting fulfillment this month, October, and it's set to hit retail end of November.
Okay.
So before the Christmas season, hopefully.
Everybody has
exactly,
a copy for it. Cool, nice.
Yeah, so on the lighter side, we have Emerge, and this hit retail in September. And this is a gorgeous game if you've ever seen it in person. The board is like very long, like a table runner. You have a bunch of different animeeples, but it's lighter than you think it would be. It's a dice placement game at best. So thematically, you have these volcanoes that are erupting underneath the ocean, and so new islands are emerging as a result of that. And so you're trying your best to discover the different ecosystems on there and try to get it flourishing.
Yeah, we talked about it. It was on my top 5 for Spiel this year. Just for the looks of it, it has the same. We just talked about wolf, that colorful, that all those wood on the table, and this is also a lot of color, wood, those different kind of levels on the island. Looks really great. In the game, you have your creatures. You can put a dice on it, but you can also get different cards for it, right?
Yes, correct. You have every player starts with their own player board. But throughout the game, you can get these different modifier tiles that you place onto your board. So for example, if you really want to invest in getting your crabs out this round, then you can put the crab tile onto your board.
Because with the dice, you activate an animal species.
Exactly, yes.
And that's the action you're going to perform.
The action selection, yes.
Cool.
But there's also good opportunities for dice mitigation and things like that.
Yeah, nice. Is the production of such a game, can you something tell about that? Because is there someone coming with a prototype and you guys gonna get, okay, we need to get those islands in different layers, or?
Yeah, to be honest, particularly with the Merge, I'm not 100% sure how the development of it came to be, but thinking about something like the Wolves or prototypes that I've seen recently, designers will come to us with a prototype, and then from there, our head of development, Alex, he'll see where he can tweak things mechanically, and then we bring things to the company, and especially our owners, Nathan and Molly, who have a really good eye for artistic abilities.
Appealing.
And then we do a lot of scouting for artists and see how we can make the game come to life.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that we pride ourselves in is having games that make you stop when you walk by and you look at it. So whether that's in beautiful meeple shapes and colors or other components is what we really want to do.
Yeah, definitely with Emerge, you will stop by to see what's there on the table.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. Cool, nice.
Yeah, one of our best sellers of this weekend actually is this small game called Beacon Patrol. Have you played this at all, heard anything about it?
No.
Yeah, it's a small box game. It's fully cooperative for 1 to 4 players. It's one of those games where you're just trying to score the most points. So thematically, you're just trying to explore the sea, and you do that by placing tiles onto the board and moving your ships around and collaborating with your peers. It's only €20, so I think it's a good price point. It's also super cozy and puzzly, but it's done really well this weekend.
Nice. Cool artwork on the box and on the tiles.
So the artist is actually the designer. So he did everything. He brought it to us, made it very easy for us to publish.
Yeah, nice.
And we're actually working on an expansion for it already. So.
Okay, so that's something that's coming up.
Exactly, yes. And then our last game that we have for this weekend is called Unrest. So this is a 2-player asymmetrical card game. In this game, it's the classic rebellion against the Empire. So the rebellion trying to overthrow the Empire, and then the Empire are trying to exhaust the rebellion's resources. But they each play the game differently. So the rebellion is trying to play cards to these city districts to liberate them and meet these certain missions. And the Empire has these 4 power tokens that basically just stop the rebellion from doing that. So it plays in about 15 to 20 minutes, super quick. And we also have an expansion in development for this already as well.
Okay. Cool. It's when I see these 4 games, they're quite different from
They are,
from each other. Is that because you want to hit a wide public, or just like, okay, this feels like Pandasaurus and we need to get this game to the people?
Yeah, I think so. Overall, Pandasaurus likes to call ourselves a family plus company.
Yeah.
So games that you can play with your family, and our heaviest game just a little bit heavier than that. So the Fox Experiment or Dinosaur Island, Dinosaur World is as heavy as we publish. But besides that, we just really like to publish games that we love and games that are good games.
Yeah.
So that's why, here in this collection in front of us, you have a 2-player card game, you have a cooperative tile laying game, and then you have 2 other big games here.
Yeah.
I think we just try to put our own spin on the art and such.
Yes. Yeah, it looks a great set of games to put on the show, I think. Is there maybe something coming up for next year in the first few months of 2024?
Yeah, so for the first few months of 2024, they're going to be all games that we're localizing and bringing to the US. So just to name them, there would be Look at the Stars, which is like a flip and write game.
Yeah.
We have this card game called Mind Up, which is super cool if you like just small box, really clever card games. I suggest checking that one out. We also have a game called Far Away, and a game called Courtesans, I believe. Yeah, Courtesans. I don't know how to
Something in
pronounce
there,
it exactly. Yes,
yeah.
but they're all really, really good games, and we're excited to be able to bring them to the US.
Yes, nice. Because normally, mostly, you don't have a partner here distribute in Europe, right?
We do have a distributor. They're called EPN, European Player Network.
Yeah.
To be honest, with my job, I'm not fully immersed in the distribution side of the company, so I'm not 100% sure how that works.
No, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
You see some titles of you, like The Wolves is now in the Netherlands for...
Oh, you're talking about like localizing the game.
Yeah, they're localizing your game.
Yes. We don't have one exclusive partner. No.
And but at that point, there is a moment that a publisher is coming to you guys and say, okay, we want to publish your game in a Dutch version, and you're going to chat about how you're going to arrange that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the meetings that our owners take when we're at Spiel is with different companies who want to localize our titles.
Your games,
Yeah.
Cool.
Since we're coming here,
Yeah, it's a perfect moment to speak with each other.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for these games from Pandasaurus.
Thank you.
Hopefully we see each other next year at
Absolutely.
Spiel.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you. Thank you for your time. But first, Debbie, thank you for having me at Wise Wisdom Games.
Absolutely, thanks for stopping by.
The last day at Spiel, so I can imagine that it's a little bit done. But you have maybe a good trip at Amsterdam to relax a bit.
We had a fabulous trip in Amsterdam. It's one of our favorite places in the world.
Good to hear that. But we're not going to talk about Amsterdam, we're going to talk about your newest games here at Spiel. I see here Robot Quest Arena. Last year it was playable at Spiel, but not retail available, I think.
That's right.
Now I see a lot of boxes, but also I think you sold a lot of copies of it.
Yes, everyone that's been playing it has loved it. It is a deck building game with arena battling, with the most adorable, colorful, pre-painted robots, which attracts a lot of people over. I've had a lot of families playing and loving it, so it's great if you already know you like deck building games, but for people who maybe haven't played a deck building game or haven't played an arena like battling type of game, the robots really get them into wanting to play and wanting to like put that effort in to learn how to play, and we have made it simple enough so that, you know, people new to these types of games can learn. One of the big things we did during the development of the game was to simplify some aspects of it to make it so that it's really good for both competitive gamers and casual gamers.
Yeah, and
they
a
can
good
play
toy
together.
factor with the robot miniatures. All right, I see also a few promos of it with new robots available for the game. Is there maybe something more coming up for Robot Quest?
Yeah, so right now, so at Spiel we had RoboQuest available for sale. It'll be in retail in Europe in November timeframe. And we have the base game and 2 robot expansions available at that time, which you can also get here at Essen if you're here. Yeah. But those robots each come with an additional tiles, so new things you can put on the board. Like there's one with a button and then a fire trap and a bottomless pit. And if another robot moves onto that, or you push someone onto it and then you push that button and flip it, they'll fall into the bottomless pit or fall into the fire pit and be knocked out of the game. You can also shoot the button. So there's also new market cards in each of those expansion packs. So the expansion packs are really cool. They can increase the number of players. So the base game has 4. With the expansion packs, you can play up to 6 people.
Okay. On the same board?
On the same board. I've played with 7 on the same board.
Okay.
We had 1 additional robot that was part of the Kickstarter. And it was really fun. It's fun to watch other people take their turns. A lot of people will like think out loud. One of the things I personally like about this game is, like Star Realms, when you're taking your turn, like nobody else can do anything. There's no responding. So if you're like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this, then other people are like, well, you don't have to punch me. You can like go over there, or you could push this bot, and people will.
It's very talk or
it's been very
manipulation.
Interactive when I played with new players, and that like they're like they talk out loud what they're gonna do. Other people give them ideas and try to like push them to like go after other robots. And it plays really well at 2 players too, because you can do 2 robots each. So there's still a lot of action going on if you play 2 players. A lot of games like play really well at 2 and not well at high players, but this game I think plays really well for all the players. We are working on some new bots. I personally haven't been in the loop on that, so I don't know anything about the new bots, but I'm sure they're going to be adorable. The same artist, James McDonald, built the whole world, and he's designing the look and feel of those robots. And then, our team's working on the mechanics. Each robot has a special ability, and
it needs to fit
new
with the
cards
other abilities,
and tiles, etc. So we'll be balancing them, and we're very good at that kind of thing. So I'm very confident those new bots are just going to like add more cool stuff.
Cool. Sounds great, and it looks great. Really colorful. Yes.
We're very happy with it.
Another game you're having here at Spiel is Kapow. I think last year was the first volume.
Yes.
This year the second volume you added to the collection. Is it just the same but more heroes, new?
Yeah, it's the same base mechanics. So you're still like building up your dice pool as you play and choosing like, am I going to attack my opponent? Am I going to defend? Am I going to get more dice and other special things behind the screen? And then and then you lift up and you go back and forth. So it works the same way as Volume 1, but it's all new heroes and villains. And they're very cool, and they have all different powers compared to Volume 1. And you can also do 4-player if you have Volume 1 and Volume 2. So you can buy either volume. You just can pick like, okay, I think I like these heroes and villains. Like Volume 2 has a couple that are music themed, like a woman with an electric guitar, and another one that plays the cello, and it brings them. Their musical abilities have powers attached to them. There's someone with mind powers. So you can choose based on what type of heroes and villains you like, or buy the art on the box to give you an idea. But if you buy both, you can play them together for a 4-player game. So either game is standalone, 2-player, and together it's 4-player. And that game, I've told people, look, they'll be looking at the box. I'm like, hey, I can show you how to play this in like less than 5 minutes, and they're like, okay, if you can. So I show, literally, I just show them how a turn goes, and they're done. They know how to play. So it's a great game to just like pull out and be like, hey, you want to play a quick game? When you have a friend over and you're waiting for the other people to show up, and you want one of those like quick games. Yeah, and everyone loves to roll dice. Our 9-year-old also really likes Kapow because she was playing it before she could read during COVID because it was lockdown, and she was always there when we were working, and she couldn't read, but she was able to place the dice and match the icons. It's very kid friendly too.
Cool.
Yeah.
You also showed the new upcoming game for Star Realms. It was a Kickstarter campaign last year. Now it's in development or printing maybe.
Yes.
And it's coming to the players. What can you tell me about it?
So this is Star Realms Rise of Empire, and we're not showing it here, but since you're in my secret back meeting room, you see it here. This is our pre-production proof. So it's from the factory, which means, you know, they've manufactured everything. We've looked at it. If it was like everything's great, ready to go, the game would be going to print. But we have some changes they need to make, so it's not quite going to print, but it's getting ready to go to print. So it'll come out this coming year, and it's awesome. It is a all-new Star Realms set. It's called Rise of Empire. It's a legacy game, meaning like you play through and it's a unique experience. You're each playing as a different faction. It's a 2-player campaign, and it's a prequel to the current Star Realms world. So that's why there's new factions. There's 3 new factions, which is totally new in Star Realms. You know, it's actually 10 years since we made the original Star Realms, and we might have some things coming that I can't talk about yet for that, but yeah, it's been 10 years since we made the original Star Realms, and we weren't planning to do it. We weren't. It's still selling super well. You know, I'm wearing a Star Realms shirt, and everywhere I go, people are like, "I love your game." But this will be a totally different experience, where as you're playing through, you're opening envelopes. Each round is like a different type of challenge, a different setup depending who wins one game. The setup's different on the next game, so it's a very interactive experience, and there's a lot of replayability. And part of how you play is you are upgrading cards with stickers, but we definitely got some loud feedback that some people don't like to upgrade their cards. So, but don't worry, we have the infinite replayability kit. So with that, you don't need to upgrade your cards to be able to make changes to your deck. And either way, at the end of the series of campaigns, you have a fully playable 6-player Star Realms game that you can play.
Nice.
And it's unique if you do upgrade it with the stickers. Completely
unique set of your own style.
Okay, very nice. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
That game. Is there something else that Wise Wizard is busy with, where you can tell, or is it all just somewhere on a table? And
we have a new game coming out that's cat themed that we're working on, that's in development, which a lot of people find that really interesting, because anyone that's watched Rob and I live stream, I've always wanted to have a cat game. So it's about trying to fit as many cats as you can in your suitcase. So we're excited about that. We have a whole ton of Hero Realms content that's coming out with 5 new characters, new cooperative campaigns. That's called Hero Realms Dungeons. So we have a lot, and we have other games.
Last year the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, last year with the Kickstarter, so there's information available about that, but we'll have all those new characters in a box set with cooperative in the box and new characters. So that's super exciting. But yeah, we have I mentioned the cat game, but we have other games in the works as well. So a lot of our games we design ourselves, but we're also working with outside designers. So that's why you might see some different flavors of games coming from us, but they'll still be awesome, easy to learn, fun to play.
Nice. All right, thank you, Debbie, for your time.
Thank you.
And I hope you will survive this few hours left, but you have a bit of a break, maybe?
We'll survive. We're almost done with our meetings today. Yeah, and then I got to do a little shopping.
Yes, good. Also necessary, right? All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Brothers podcast. This was our special episode with a few interviews from Spiel this year. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want to make contact with us or have any feedback, feel free to send an email or send a message to our Instagram page. For now, bye, and as we say in Dutch, houdoe en bedankt.